All right. Stripping for gold. What I got here is a TCL 55-inch LCD or LED 55S 425. So that's the model. It's broken on the corner here. So, not worth anything. The front, nothing special. In the back, I don't have a date on it. So let's see what's inside. Let's see what we can do. Take these gloves off of here. Okay. What I'm gonna do is spin this around. All right, here we go. So this is going to come out in two different pieces. You have this and then this steel shell. And right now, I think I'm just taking the plastic. It's the smaller piece of pine. Come on, screw stuck on it. I'm going to take, if I see screws, I'm just going to take them out anyways. Anything that comes out is getting taken out. Because one way or another, I'm going to take it out now or later. No, that sounds broken. Oh, there is still a screw there. Alright, got it. Got it. Got it. That's too small. Got it. Okay. So let's take this off. Alright, so we got some stuff here I gotta pull off. Speaker, dusty, just dust. Apparently doesn't want to come off though, so there's that. I need, well, let me take this off. Alright, that doesn't want to come off either. Let me get a little pry bar. That's another way to do it. It worked. Did come off. I was going to use these, but I guess I don't have to now. Yeah. What unplugged? I just want to get a look at the speakers anyways while we're at it. This thing's not going to have much on it. Alright, speaker, come on. That's it. Teeny little speaker. Garbage. Jesus. Oh. Can't get this little mini board out of here. I wonder why. I'm just gonna cut it with the plastic. Man, it's really fighting me. Really fighting me. So, taking TVs apart for the boards for gold. Is it worth it? If I had to pay for them, no. These are, I get for free. So then, yeah. This plastic, interesting enough, is ABS. I think FR40 It is completely recyclable. This can be melted down, made into plastic, and reformed. I'm gonna look for a buyer. I don't have one now, but it is possible. Right now, I just ended up breaking those down, and they go back to the landfill. But I'm gonna try to find a buyer. I'd love to recycle that, even if I don't make any money. It'd be nice to see that it doesn't go to the landfill. Okay, so as in this TV, there is very little that makes it appealing. It's TCL is not the highest of high televisions. They're getting better, I guess, from what I heard. But to me, I'm just not a big fan. I still like Samsung the best. I know back in the day, though, your number one TV for electronics, plasmas especially, back in the 2000s, early 2000s, were Panasonics. Panasonic seems to be pretty damn good. Those are good TVs, and they have tons of circuit videos. If you've seen some of my videos where I've taken apart Panasonic plasma televisions, I'm like orgasmic. It's like, holy shit, this thing's loaded with stuff. Just tons of boards. This is fun, you know. And some of this stuff I enjoy simply because I just like taking things apart and learning about them. I have since I was a kid. It's just a thing. Some of you probably are like, what the hell is he wasting this time for? Well, I could be watching TV. To kind of bores me a little bit just sitting around watching TV. So I try to, to me this is more mentally stimulating. Taking something apart, learn about how it's made, and then potentially make a couple bucks off it. Literally a couple bucks. But whatever. To me, it's fun. You're doing something good for the environment. There's something to be said about that. Like, it's not the worst thing in the world. I'll keep these and dig the speakers out. I put the speakers in a box. Keep the cable, because you get money for this too. I think right now, wire. You could just break down. I think you get about $1 a pound for wire. So you can just gather up all the cables. What I do, which you don't necessarily need to, is I take off the ends. It just makes it so it takes up less room. And I put it in 5-gallon buckets, and I've got, I don't know how many of them now, full of wire. But that way, you bring them to the yard, they'll give you the buckets back, you bring the buckets to wherever. But you get $1 a pound, roughly. And that's always nice to see. Aluminum, 50 cents a pound. That's around here at this point, that's Massachusetts. You might get slightly different prices on the types of aluminum. So if you have like aluminum cans, you're going to get a price on that. You're also going to get a sheet aluminum or aluminum siding price, and cast aluminum. And actually I can show you the difference. Extruded. This is extruded aluminum. Right here. It's extruded. It's actually high quality, high percentage rate of aluminum in it. This is a cast piece of aluminum. I don't know if you can make out the nature of that, or the difference between that and extruded. Cast is still good, but you might get a few cents less per pound for cast. At least that's what I tend to see. Extruded seems to get you the best. And then there is probably the most common sheet aluminum, sheet aluminum is going to be the most common, siding off a house is going to be sheet aluminum. I separate them. Your extruded aluminum is also going to be what you get on your circuit boards. That, the one that's on the heat sinks. However, they're all going to get you around 50 cents a pound right now. It should be higher, I think, for the amount of for the cost of aluminum per pound. It should be higher, but it isn't. But it should be. I separate them in case I go to a different place. I go, it's all one price for aluminum. Your aluminum sink here, this might not even be aluminum heat sink, that's on this board, is going. I think this is steel. No, it's aluminum. I can't get this off of it. I think taking the chip off. Ugh. Got it. Yeah, that's sheet aluminum. God, this weighs almost nothing. This is such a cheap, thin piece of aluminum. That's why I said, like, the TCL boards just don't impress me. They just don't use much in the way of materials, and yeah, that's the aluminum piece, and that's getting chucked into our aluminum bin. Though I am gonna try to clean off some of this glue. I try to clean off any excess. You don't have to, but I like to clean it off so the yard that I'm bringing it to is like, doesn't think, I'm trying to put dirty aluminum in with the aluminum, because there is a different price. If your aluminum has still got like chunks of metal attached to it, and even just plastic, that's considered dirty aluminum, and that's going to get you significantly less, like 20 cents a pound versus 50 cents a pound. So I just try to, if I can, with whatever tool you have, take off whatever excess glue or, so when you're trying to get money for it, it doesn't look like you're trying to screw the yard up and get money that you're not, that you're not getting. These here, the coaxial connectors, if you can make that up, bring these up, but that coax connector is basically where the television signal comes in from either the antenna or the cable company. That is usually brass. You get $2 a pound for those. You're gonna have to gather quite a few over time, but you can get $2 a pound. So you're talking $2 a pound for that, $1 a pound for the wire. Everything has value. And then this is also considered wire. It's going to be probably just grouped in the dollar stuff. I take the gold ends off. Let me just show you that. See the gold ends, I clip them off, and eventually I will take acid and try to get the gold from it. Specifically take nitric acid and, aqua regia is what you need to take off gold. But what you would do, and don't do this, but what you would do is cut all the ends off. But you're going to have tin, copper, other things underneath that gold. You don't want that. So first you want to put that in solution, meaning you want to dissolve it in something. So you take nitric acid, and which won't eat the gold, but it will eat or dissolve or put in solution the tin and the copper. You do that, keep it slightly warm for a couple days. You don't even need that long, depending on how much metal. But if it's thin like this, it would only take 3-4 hours, and then you're going to have pure gold left over. So now you filter off that solution, keep the pure gold, and you're not going to do it with just one. You're going to have hundreds of these, right? And then take that, put it all of those pieces that are stuck in the filter, which are just gold. Now you're going to take those and you're going to put them in aqua regia. And aqua regia is just a mixture of acids. It's hydrochloric acid. I believe it's, I want to say 5 to 3. So say 5 parts of hydrochloric acid to 3 parts of, don't quote me on that. It might be 1 to 3. It might be 1 part nitric to 3 parts hydrochloric. But the way you do it too is you want to put hydrochloric in, and then you want to slowly put in nitric acid. You don't want to mix anything fast, but don't even do this anyways. And that will dissolve gold. Then, once that's dissolved, you're going to then want to get it out of there. So filter any material off, so any plastic or anything else that is in that is going to get stuck in the filter. Now you're going to end up with a solution of aqua regia in gold that's dissolved in it. You will then take the gold, well, the solution, I should say, you'll take sodium metabisulfate. A stump out is what you can buy it at a hardware store. It's stump out. Sodium metabisulfate, and that will cause the gold to precipitate out of that solution. However, if there's too much nitric in it, you may have to get some of the acidity out, and you may have to put a little bit of urea in before you do that. So there's other parts to this, so don't try to do this by yourself, or don't even try to do it. I shouldn't say by yourself. Don't try to do it, and then you won't end up hurting. Because acids are wicked dangerous. You can see I have or I don't know if you can on that camera, but I have a chemical vent hood to off gas and whatnot. So anyway, these, I've got 2 boards and, well, technically 3. Teeny little board, which is just the infrared remote receiver. And we also have this little Wi-Fi card, which is popping out now. And the Wi-Fi cards are actually have value. They can be sold as, I believe, a low-grade peripheral board through boardsort.com. That's one of the places where if you're selling boards directly and you don't want to try to take the gold out, which is probably the best way to do it, you could go to boardsort.com and you find your way to rate the boards like this, and then you send them in and get ready for them. So that's pretty cool, you know. I need the other screwdriver. I need the small number 1-bit screwdriver. Let's see if I have one here. I did, but it's upstairs. Don't have it there, do I? Let's see. I don't. Where are you, number 1? Where are you? Where are you? Might be limited on what I can do with this. Okay, here we go. Oh, the number 1 bit's gone. Nope, I got it. I got the number 1. I do. It's gonna be manual though. Wait a minute. It's gonna be manual because I can't use that type on this. No way. No, it's not gonna fit. Okay, gotta do this manual. I'm trying to take off this one piece of metal. It's ferrous, it's not aluminum, so it's like a steel, sheet steel. You can see all the sheet steel I have around here. And that way I can free up the last board, which is a T-Con, the timing control board. The T-Con board goes in between your video rendering board, I think that's what you'd call that, and the plasma screen or the LCD screen itself. They call it, you'll hear people refer to it as a T-Con board. It's a timing control board. Basically sends out exactly what the pixels are going to do to the board. You know, it's like, so this piece of metal. Oh, this has got one huge, or 2 boards. The timing control board, or the T-Con board, always has a lot of gold on it. They're cool because they look cool. They're cool because they look cool. It's flashed gold though. It isn't plated. It's flashed, which means it's thinner than actual plating. If you go back to like the heyday of 60s and 70s where they were using gold for stereo receivers and computers and whatnot, they would plate. They would actually plate the gold on connections. Nowadays, they're too cheap. Well, they're smart or cheap, whatever you want to call it. So they flash it. They don't put on. I don't know what flashing entails, to tell you the truth. I don't know the process, but it is thinner, quite a bit thinner than plating. Plating gold is going to put a nice amount of gold on that you could actually recover, and is nice. So if you can get your hands on like older 60s, 70s electronics, I mean, that's the way to go, because that stuff's going to have good, you're not going to have to gather up as much to get gold. Where newer items, especially newer TVs, and computers, but really newer TVs are gonna really be difficult. They got really good at, I think the date's like 2017 is when there's an actual like demarcation point where it was just cheaper. Things got way cheaper. Maybe it's some sort of plating process or a flashing process rather. So here's the T-Con boards. What I'm gonna do, I'm going to take them, I'm not going to snap that because I'm going to take these T-Con boards right out and then show you what we have for boards. There's going to be LEDs in here, and LEDs also have gold filaments or gold bonding wires. So you can, oh hey, what was the CPU under that? These T-Con boards actually aren't bad. With me trashing TCL, and now I'm like, not that bad. Got these boards up in. Alright, so here's your T-Con boards. How well that camera shows it. So I'm coming up close. And here we are. So these are the timing control boards that go between the video processing board and the LCD screen. This actually tells each pixel exactly what to do, but you can see the gold. Nice, huh? Like, you gotta like the amount of gold. You know, gold's pretty. It is pretty. So, these boards. And then I'll show you these two in the Wi-Fi card. This is your, first I'll show you the Wi-Fi. This is your Wi-Fi adapter for that television. It has information on that little sticker that will tell you the MAC address, things like that. That's actually worth something. Our main video rendering board. This is value-wise. This could go either way. This could be considered high or low grade peripheral board. I'm not sure. It doesn't have a lot, but it's got some. But you might be on low grade peripheral there. Either way, it's $3.50 a pound, I think. $6 a pound for the high grade peripheral. And then this board is going to be 50 cents a pound at boardsort.com. So your shipping costs are probably going to outweigh sending it. You're better off just taking the aluminum, copper on the transformer there, and the toroid down there, and take the IC chips, that one there. Take your blue capacitors; those might have silver or gold, and you know, anything else. I don't see much anything else, but thin film resistors for your ruthenium. So don't get a whole lot out of that TV. And like I said, I told you about the other stuff. And then your sheet metal. But your LEDs. Last, I'm not gonna show you because this video is gonna go too long. Last is the LEDs that are inside of this. The LED lights are gonna be a strip like. I'm going to pull one out and show you. Okay, it's gonna be like this. And there's gonna be an LED, like right there, that's gonna have a teeny gold ball iron. I take these out and save them. I have hundreds and hundreds of those boards now. So that means I probably have thousands of LEDs. Someday it might add up and might be a significant amount of gold. And you know, people would say, like, how long is that going to take? How many? But you know, I don't really care. And maybe my kids get the gold. But gold's always going to go up in value. You keep the money in the bank in cash, and you know how much you're going to have. You know, with inflation going up at so much per year, it just loses money. Cash loses money. Your best bet and most solid bet, I think, is commodities, is precious metals, because precious metals have value and are never going to go below something. Copper, they get a lot of copper. That's not a precious metal, but it's a commodity. Copper is never going to go below a certain amount because it's got to be used for things. It's an industrial metal. Same thing with silver. Gold to a lesser point. Gold, a lot of is used in flashing and coatings and things like that here. However, like 90% of the use of gold is jewelry, believe it or not. Your other metal like silver and ruthenium, rhodium, and palladium, or palladium, however you want to pronounce it. And to your base metals, aluminum, copper, or aluminium, as the British would say, those base metals, they just have intrinsic value, are going to. If society was to crash, those metals would have value because they would be used for swords, bullets, you know, things like that. So it's a good bet, and they always tend to go up. They're going to go up, you know, with inflation or higher. They're never going to really lose a lot of value. Gold is $5,000 an ounce right now. Silver is 78, I think, an ounce, and that's probably going to change by the time you see this video. I think it's smart to keep money in metals. So, you know, if you can gather up gold that you find here and there for free and enjoy it and not be spending time in front of the TV, what the heck, you know? This is a hobby that you could actually make money on. A lot, no, but hey, 25, 30, 40 years ago from now, your grandchildren will be like psyched because they'll be like, thank God Grandpa put all these little stupid computer things in a jar, now they're worth crazy amounts of money. So it's a fallback, is what I think. A fallback. You can fall back to that money. If everything goes to shit in the stock market and all your money's in that, you still get some of this base metal stuff and precious metal that will, you know, float you, it keeps you foundation. There's a safety net bottom. Anyways, enough of that. I can go on and on for hours about stuff. I can preach to the choir about craziness. I hope you enjoyed the video. Click like or subscribe, and yeah, maybe next time I'll talk about politics or religion. Yeah, no, that'll probably get me killed. I do enough of that on Facebook. Yeah, not gonna screw up this thing. Yeah, I probably will screw it up. It's just a matter of when. I can't help it. It's too fun. It's too fun. It's funny. You know what's funny? I don't get stressed by putting up politics or religion. I enjoy the debate. I enjoy the good, you know, back and forth. But it does make probably most people very irate. I know, because family members I have don't talk to me anymore, and you know, they don't like what I think, and I understand, you know, or I don't understand, but you know, I think, like, you know, if you're trying to prove your side, you say, this is why I believe this, and you know, you try to convince the other people. I think you should believe this because of that. But we've devolved into a situation now when people try to convince the other side. They do it by saying, you're an idiot, and that's it. You know,
There's no, well, I have this study or this information, this evidence to this, that the empiricist proof, you can't deny this. Look at this. I got this 5 out of 10. That it's gone out the window. Evidence proof is not a thing that we bother with anymore. Yeah. So, but religion. Oof, that's a doozy, huh? People like that. Yeah, I'm not a religious person, so I always get a kick out of it. I do find the history of religion and all of that fascinating, you know. I myself, find it really kind of difficult to believe any of these things, but I think some people must have to have it in order to feel peace or whatever. I don't know. But again, empiricism, it's hard for me to believe anything without having evidence in front of me, and I don't mean evidence of somebody, I mean empirical evidence that you can back up with repeated experimentation and whatnot. I wish the whole world kind of worked on that type of situation, but they don't. You gotta have faith. No, you don't. That's the worst line I think I've ever heard. Probably the good song, but worst line, you gotta have faith. You don't have to have faith. Faith is believing in something that has no proof, and that makes no sense. Don't ever have faith. Always be a skeptic. Always be a critical thinker. Don't do or believe anything unless somebody provides you with some pretty damn good proof of why it is and why it exists. Probably one of the reasons why I like base metals and precious metals, because they're actually there. You give me $1 faux currency, how do I know that's real? How do I know that is anything, right? It's only as good as the country that backs it up, and yeah, the United States, huh? Ask a lot of people around the world now how that to them. So, yeah, base metals, precious metals, that's what you gotta do. I could pontificate for hours. I am grateful for everybody out there. Thank you for listening. Hope all is well, and watch the next video. Hopefully it's a little bit more exciting than this. All right. This is a new camera too, so let's see how this worked. All right, ready? Where is the stop? Here I go. Over and out.